Welcome to the Fractional Show. I'm your host, Stella, and today I've got an absolute powerhouse in the room, Marci Surface, who is here as the founder of the Veranda University Investment Club on Fractional. Marci, tell us more about you and what you're building the club for.
Amazing. Thanks for having me. So I am the founder of Veranda Homes, which is a luxury home builder and luxury student housing operator, and Veranda Capital, which is our capital company, basically. So got connected with Fractional recently and super excited. We've just launched our project actually today. And so we are basically, it's a debt program so that we pay 10%, interest only, monthly payments, and it's for lending to one of our very favorite asset classes, which is student housing.
How did you get into student housing? And I know you're focused on the luxury side of it too. Tell us more about that.
So we got into it because famously, I have two kids. I have three boys, and two of them went to Tulane University in New Orleans. And Mama Bear was dropping off, and the living accommodations were horrible in the house that one of my sons was staying in. And he actually said that a rat had crawled across his chest during the night. So I freaked out, and I said I couldn't leave my children there. So that started a process of buying a lot of beautiful, beautiful homes right at Tulane. Remodeling them because that was I have a long background in renovation and historic homes. So we started making them, the best houses at Tulane, and we have had a great business. We've got 2-year leases with a 2-year wait list, and we have the best houses at Tulane. So that's been really, really fun, and so we're expanding that now across the country. But also really just wanted to start this debt instrument to be able to lend to other student housing operators.
That's amazing. It all started from a rat.
Yes, it did. It all started with a rat, 100%.
So you've got a 2-year wait list that's been built out. How did that happen?
So basically, when you get a reputation, so we've got a really good reputation, again, of having the best houses. We do a few things differently. They're furnished all the way down to the silverware. So they're set up more like very high-end Airbnbs, but the kids just bring their own linens. So they're not having to build furniture, put furniture out on the street, that, the mattresses aren't all outside and all terrible. But we have, so because of that, we're very popular as far as, again, being the best houses in the best locations. And we've gotten really popular with a lot of the parents too. So parents might have, another child that comes up, they want their child to have that same house. But really it's about friend groups, just keep it within the friend groups. And at Tulane, you have to live on campus the first couple of years. And so they will, as soon as they're freshmen, as soon as they get on campus, they will rent our houses for their junior and senior years.
Wow, I love that. You've got the organic flywheel.
We sure do, 100%.
I mean, that's the best.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, is that, the core focus is the Tulane, New Orleans market, or do you want to expand this out to other states?
Yeah, we're absolutely expanding right now. So we're looking at a few really great universities, public or private. They both work. So if anybody has any great ideas, reach out to me. But we are, it's definitely something that our company is expanding into, and that it's something that we want to support other people to do as well. It's very needed. The student housing market has a 50% shortage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I totally resonate because when I went to college at Carnegie Mellon, it was also a very crappy, out of campus living situation.
Yeah.
And I ended up buying my own within the campus because
I'm
like, I feel this, I lived through this, and now I want to provide more opportunities. So it's absolutely amazing that you're doing that.
Yep.
And I want to talk more about the club part as well. What inspired you to, want to raise money and bring in other people along into this mission?
So I think that right now, especially, I think that being, when you're in real estate, if you're operating, it is a full-time job. It's full-on, full-time, full-on, 24/7. Allowing people the opportunity to still participate in this financially, but doing it in a passive way. So doing something like, doing a debt opportunity is just such a great way for people to have a guaranteed return, because it is debt, so it's not equity, so it's really protected, which is great. But just, having access to the community that Fractional brings too was really, really interesting to me. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, well, you're a community leader yourself. You've got a lot of mentees. Tell us about that side of the world.
So I do have a lot of amazing women in my community. So I've got a Facebook group called Firepower, Females Investing in Real Estate, that you all should join, women. And then I teach 2 classes, or 2 programs. So one is called Flipping Millions. does not have to be $1 million house, but it's just about scaling your flipping business. And then I also have one called 6 Weeks to Six Figures, and that's about raising money from other people for your projects. And so obviously Fractional is going to be one of our guest speakers at our next class, and I'm really excited about that.
That's amazing. And I really love the blend of what you're doing with the debt club, where people do get to be more passive, right? Rather than being an active operator where they're going in and having to build these things. But at the same time, you being an educator, you being a community leader, and now running the club, I also see this really, really great opportunity where you're kind of blending both worlds, where people now get to learn and earn without actually having to necessarily, deal with the nitty-gritties of operating the asset itself, right?
Yep.
What is the club experience that you want to create in that learn and earn fashion?
So one thing that we do is we do field trips to, so right now it's at Tulane because that's where our houses are, but we will be doing field trips to either emerging markets or markets that we're going into, or as soon as we have them. So we'll do 2 field trips a year. So our club members are invited to those, which is just an amazing experience. And then really, I love teaching. So if there is somebody that wants to learn more about student housing, I love taking people under my wing and letting them learn along the way as they're lending to the debt club. And so really just giving them an experience so that they feel connected to the experience, because it is a really fun asset class as well. I mean, college is fun, so it's a really fun thing to do, and you really feel like you're providing this great service and then making money along the way. So it's awesome.
That's amazing. When you look at what kind of properties are a good fit for student housing, what's like a yes versus a no deal?
Generally, the more bedrooms, the better. So you want to make sure that if you can get like the sweet spot of like 6 bedrooms and above is kind of a perfect scenario. You want to be in markets where they are not building the huge high rises that you see at some universities. So at Tulane and New Orleans, obviously lots of like historic restrictions and those types of things, and so that's not happening there. So like I said, bedroom count for sure, and then also just making sure that you're very aware of what the competitive landscape is. Again, if you have, we buy mansions that we redo and they're beautiful, but you don't want these, huge 10-story buildings coming up all around you. That would be challenging. And there's lots of opportunity where that's not happening. So
right. We don't want to compete against the institutional investors that are building the apartments.
Yeah.
What about, the students that you choose to rent to? Are we okay with, hosting sorority parties and frat parties, or is that a no-no?
Well, I have a amazing, so one of our houses actually is the house that my son lived in, and it has a pool, and it's attached to his old fraternity house. So that's a riot. So we do have, just like Airbnbs, we have cameras on the front and the back just for security purposes. So we do see some very funny things happening occasionally. Funny enough, you would be surprised. Really, our clients are, yes, they're the kids, those are our clients, but really their parents are our clients. And we get to know them all. We get to know the parents. We have a cocktail party for the parents at Parents Weekend. That's super fun. So we get to know them, they get to know us. We're taking care of their kids, right? So they love that part of it. A party never hurt anybody. Like, I was really fun in college, so a party never hurt anybody. And honestly, like, I'm in construction, right? So like anything can generally be fixed. And if it's something really crazy, they pay for it. So it's not a problem.
I love that.
It does not scare me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love what you said about, how the parents are ultimately the clients as well. And I think that's what makes this whole asset class and strategy so stable, because you're counting on, essentially tenants that are, high paying, parents, right, that are sending their kids to this, really great university and all of that. Like, I think that makes so much sense as a strategy.
Yeah, there's never a parent that's going to miss rent, right? They're not going to risk their kid being thrown out during the semester because of non-payment of rent. So it's a really great, it's a really safe, kind of class for that.
Right. That's a great point. And I love that you're hosting the cocktail night with them too. What a fun time. I love it. So going back to the club, like, who do you think are the best people that should get in here? What are their financial goals? Where are they in life? Why should they be in the club?
So I would say, so we allow accredited and non-accredited, so that's all fine. I think anybody that just wants passive income, passive cash flow. This is like I said, it's a monthly payout, and it is just something you can just absolutely count on. I have a client that is one of my lenders. she has $100,000, that she's lent, and she gets 10%, and she just loves to use that extra check to pay off her child's part of her tuition, right? So think you can just use it for whatever you want. It's just extra money to really, to use for your life. So, and obviously it's a lot more than what banks are paying, and it's a really secured position. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever you say that, like, I just think about whenever I see the billboards and all the banks are competing for like, hey, we have 3.75 and not, 3.6. I'm like, ha ha ha, you know, like I get 10% like when I invest with Marci. So.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 10% is a big deal. It really is. It still is now, and it always has been. So I think at 10%, if you can find a debt fund, debt club that's doing 10%, especially with a really, really strong asset class, it's a winner.
Yeah, I love that. And, speaking of, how you can invest, right? We talked about how both non-accredited and accredited people can join the club as well. What about, the actual vehicle that they use, right? Like people can obviously invest as themselves. They can invest, through their company if they have an LLC. What's another strategy that people don't consider that they can actually use? They can absolutely use their SDIRA or their retirement funds. So that I would say 90% of our capital partners, they use their retirement SDIRAs. So that's a self-directed IRA. So if you have money in a 401k or something like that, oftentimes you can move that over so that it's self-directed. And that is a great way to use that self-directed amount that you have put away to make more money. So obviously then it goes back into your account, tax deferred or tax free, depending on how you're set up. But that's another great way to do it. Yep, amazing strategy. And I honestly had my funds sitting in an old, 401k that I had with a previous employer. And I didn't even recognize that the funds were sitting there until, a few years back. I looked at it and I realized like they didn't even invest that into anything. Right. Like it was just sitting there in doing cash. Absolutely nothing. Right. And they were taking fees though. Exactly. And I was like, holy shit, like what a missed opportunity. Like immediately rolled that over to a self-directed SDRA. And then started investing that. Now it's making double-digit returns. Isn't that so amazing? I mean, it really, and if you start young like that, oh my God, it's such a winner, like just a massive winner. So good for you for doing that. But you don't have to only be starting young. You can do it when you're older. You can even start your SDIRA after you've already retired. So people don't know that. You can be 95 years old and start an SDIRA and use it, and it's still got all kinds of great tax advantages. So definitely something to look forward to. To look into. I love that. Well, how would you, for someone that is early in their investing journey, right? Maybe they're not sure about how to think about debt versus equity. Maybe they're interested in just student housing as a whole. Where do you feel like the club becomes a really great way as their jumping board? Well, like I said, I love educating, and so we will be continuing to post videos and various posts from the different properties and the projects. I think that that is the way that we stay connected to all of our money partners, and it really helps them to learn along the way. In addition to the field trips, which is also really important, and then we will do quarterly calls as well, so that people really get to understand it and they really feel like they're part of this. This asset that they have, lent money to. And so that's, we do not just like disappear, like they get to see, all the things as we go along. So like I said, moving into new markets, the things that we evaluate, and just really feel like they're part of it. I love that. And you've got a lot of really great investors who have, invested and partnered with you multiple times. What were some of the things that they said, when they got that first, check from their investment? Yeah, I actually have somebody who's actually here at this conference, and she, when she was doing her taxes last year, she actually thanked me. She actually called me and thanked me. She said, I just want you to know I'm doing my taxes right now, and I just want to thank you for all the money, basically, that you made me this year. That's huge. Yeah, it was great, and it was just that was just debt, and it was just that monthly payment. I love that. I mean, that consistency, like that is what really helps build that trust, that credibility that you've obviously, been able to build up. And that's why, so many people look up to you, they join your community, they want to get mentored by you, they want to invest with you. Like you're just really bringing that in and really culminating the best type of culture possible, especially for women investors. There's really not a lot of us here. And that's why I'm so excited that we are getting to do this together. Yes, me too. I'm so excited. Launching the club live at InvestHer, which is a whole lot of fun. So to end the podcast, I want to hear more about your overall vision. Like, where do you see yourself, 10 years from now? What is the big picture of what you want to accomplish?
So we want to have $100 million in assets under management that will most likely look a lot like student housing, because that's our favorite asset class so far that we've discovered. That is definitely an attainable goal. So having, being able to use things like a debt club, is going to allow us to grow and make that happen. And that's when you start talking more about mailbox money than instead of just all of the hardcore operations where we're right now we're working 7 days a week. So let us work 7 days a week so that you can relax basically, but you can help fund the venture. But that's definitely what we're going towards, is a $100 million asset portfolio.
That's amazing. I mean, we're all here to support all of our visions coming in together, right? Like truly creating that win-win. Like I'm really excited to be supporting the club, but also being a club member myself, getting to learn the ins and outs of how do you really expand a student housing business while sipping my spritz at the beach.
That's right. That's right. Mailbox money while you're at the beach. That's my dream for you, and that's my dream for me too.
I love
it. So that's where we're going.
Well, for everyone tuning in, what are you waiting for? Definitely get in, learn more about the student housing club that Marci is running, and we're here to see you on the inside.
Thank you.